beautiful morning out here, guys. Enjoying some time out in the woods. Steve, Wilderness 333. We're out here. It's been about a month since I've been able to get out, so it's great. Of course, Evan and I are out here. It's us. You know what we're doing. Got some of that. That would be fatwood. And we're just enjoying a morning before we get back to work in the real world. And it's awesome. But Evan's gonna show you some things he's been doing and kind of the ideas of bushcraft every day. What can you EDC that you might need in a bushcraft sentimentality? He's gonna show you those here in a sec. Kind of the point of the video, but thought I'd give you a little view of our Colorado mountains and the silence and the wonder. It's beautiful.
Morning, guys. So I've been thinking a lot lately about the idea of having an EDC bushcraft kit, something sort of akin to, those EDC videos that we all watch where, it's like, show me your knife, show me your gun, show me your flashlight. What are some of the things that I can have on my person at all times that help me to move better in an outdoor environment, whether that would be just kind of a nice little social campfire, or in a more serious scenario, if you just, for whatever reason, get caught in some type of wilderness setting without proper gear. What are some things that you could just have a practice of having on your person as a fail-safe measure? So kind of in that line, I've been realizing that, my Benchmade Griptilian, which I love and I have with me all the time, it's a great knife, and it's actually, believe it or not, a pretty decent bushcrafter, despite the fact that it's got a serrated edge. It cuts fantastic feather sticks and stuff like that. So I have this with me every day. I mean, and this is great, but it's definitely got its limitations, and I've been trying to figure out how can I bolster those capabilities without just being awkward in social situations where I'm, pushing my shopping cart around King Soopers and I've got, my Estwing axe with me or something like that. So here's what I've come up with, at least so far. I saw the other day at Sportsman's Warehouse one of these Outdoor Edge folding saws. It's very flat. It's pretty lightweight. I'd spitball it at about 3 ounces, 2.5 ounces. Very thin, very lightweight, but it's got a reasonably long blade. This blade's about 4.5 inches long. And so I think that this will be something good where I can have this clipped in my waistband. It's not going to take up a lot of room. But if I need a saw, I've got something. This is actually designed more for splitting the pelvic bone on big game. It's got this little hook here that that's designed to keep the intestines from getting snagged on the saw and creating a mess. And while I am a big game hunter, I spend more time in the bush cutting wood for fires than I do splitting pelvic bones. So I might end up grinding this thing off. I might end up buying another one and having one to be like sort of a hunting saw, one to be more of a pocket bushcrafter. But anyhow, with saws of, something about this size, comes right off. Now granted, under these circumstances, you can snap it right off. This wood is bone dry, and that's obviously more time efficient, more calorie efficient. But there are times where your back's sort of up against the wall when it comes to what wood is available. I was in Alaska this summer, and finding dry wood was hard to do, especially when I was sort of operating out of an EDC posture. I would try to break off wood like this, and because it's Alaska and I'm in a rainforest, it doesn't snap off like this does. It bends over, and ideally I'd find wood that would snap over, but it just wasn't available, at least not with the tools that I had available. So I'd end up just kind of hacking it off the best I could with my Griptilian. I think this will be better. I'll be back up in Alaska this summer, and I think I'll do better this time. The other thing that I've got that I'm pretty excited about are some little EDC fire starters, if I can find them. What pocket did I put them in? Here we go. Last time I was at Chick-fil-A, I just took a couple extra straws. And what I did is I stuffed some Vaseline impregnated cotton balls in there, pinched the ends with my multi-tool, and seared them with a lighter. And so now this is pretty much double waterproof. I've got, I mean, the cotton balls are pretty much waterproof anyway, and then it's even more waterproof when it's in the sealed plastic container. So this is a way that in my EDC kit, I mean, this doesn't take up very much room at all, but if I need to make a fire and I'm without proper bushcraft stuff, I can just cut this open, and I've got a little bit of Vaseline impregnated cotton balls.
Sweet.
So I think that'll be a big asset to me when I'm doing more of the, social campfires and stuff like that, or God forbid, if I'm just caught without the rest of my kit for some reason, I can at least fall back on this stuff. So tell me what you guys think. I'm open to any suggestions, but I'm pretty excited. I think I'm moving forward in my pursuit of EDC bushcraft gear. Okay guys, so one last thing I forgot to mention. How are we going to light the cotton balls? Well, as part of my personal EDC kit, I do have 2 lighters because we all know how unreliable lighters can be. 2 is 1, 1 is none. The other thing that I have is I've got a ferro rod on my person at all times as part of my EDC kit. And I've got, at this point, my EDC is kind of fleshing out to the point where I try not to put stuff in my pockets. I don't want to have just like chipmunk cheeks riding on my hips. What I've found that works pretty well for me is I have a ferro rod kind of looped behind my multi-tool. I've got one of these rubber hair tie things that I have on a Coghlan's fire steel, and that just loops back into the belt loop of my multi-tool and then loops over like that. That keeps gear out of my pockets. It basically gives me more places to put stuff. So let's give this a go, see how it goes. So the idea is that I take one of these little straws, doesn't take up very much room at all, cut it open and extract the cotton ball, because if I'm needing to build a fire with tools that are this, shall we say, anemic, I'm going to need some help, especially in the case of places like Alaska where wood tends to be wet and stuff like that. If I don't have a knife robust enough to split down and get into the dry stuff, I'm going to need the capability to make do with some kind of marginal wood, at least until it gets going. So I'll just kind of fuzz this out. We all know how this goes. Build up the, get your wood prep going, of course, just for the purpose of this demo. I'm not going to bother. And we're off to the races. So this is by no means a full cotton ball. I'd say this is probably half a cotton ball, but even so, I bet this would burn for 3 minutes. Should be enough time to get some fairly wet wood going.